I get to fucking use the gifts that God gave me as a physical, just a physical human being, a big motherfucker, and let's go put on some fucking fun fights, man. I want some bangers. The reason I got into this was to put some extra fucking food on the table and make some money for my daughter. And now it's all changed. I had a pipe dream of getting into the UFC. Everything was a pipe dream. I'm not going to be good at this shit, and I'm okay with that. But let's go have some fun. And then the amateur went the way that it did. The pros started going the way that it did. And now we're in the UFC. I want people to remember me for my fights. I want to be out there, leaving a piece of myself out there and making some fucking history. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm excited to do.
He's wearing a t-shirt that says never made.
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.
Guys, I know you've seen him before. I know you guys love Contender Series. We got a special guest in the house, someone who's really fitting for the brand. Steven Concrete Asplund. Steven, how you doing today, man?
I'm well, brother. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, Steven, right off the bat, I want to let you know this channel is called Never Made Weight. It's for everybody who's never made weight. You know, me sitting here at in the red corner at 397 pounds. I started this about 5 months ago, and when was watching Contender Series, I saw you get the 16-second knockout. 16, I think that's the fastest, right?
Now I think it's the fourth fastest. Somebody just came in last week and beat it at 15 seconds too.
That's crazy, bro.
But first fastest in heavyweight, yeah. So I'll take it.
Oh, they're always raising the bar, bro. They're always raising the bar. Guys, 16 seconds he came in, he was not the favorite, right? You were not the favorite in that fight.
No, it kind of blew me away if I'm being honest, but I'm not tripping.
So, and your opponent had a lot to say before that fight because after you won, you had a lot to say. Can you tell us what happened there?
Man, I got to start with like I'm so embarrassed with how I reacted after the fight. I was pretty I'm an emotional guy for sure. So I'll wear that on my sleeve all the time. But dude, all of my opponents, I bought a shot and a beer, and we've always kicked it afterwards and talked afterward. I fucking hated Anthony, and now I want to be a generational hater. I was getting messages from his camp and him. Well, no, I mean, he didn't message me specifically, but I was watching some of his interviews and dude was just talking shit, saying he was gonna flatline me in less than a minute. I heard him say I didn't deserve to be here in person a couple of times when he was around his family. And I was just like, all right, man, like I hear you. I mean, your combined opponent's record's fucking 6-8, and mine's 24-12, but we'll see. I knew I was battle tested, and I wasn't. I was afraid to get hit by his little ass because I thought that power is going to be something I haven't felt before. As soon as he landed that left hook, I was like, I don't have to be in fear anymore, so I'm gonna fuck you up.
That's kind of surprising to me, given the fact that most of your wins are by finish and pretty early. You have one in the second, one in the third. The rest are in the first.
I think the problem is like I don't throw with 100% most of the time. You know what I mean? Like I have a understanding that this is gonna be a tough fight. I don't think I'm gonna be in and out of the fucking fight ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm never counting on a first round knockout. I want to go in there. I want to preserve my energy, and I like to make it a showcase most of the time. So this one was just like fuck it. I asked my coach literally right before we went out there. I was like, one last time, what's the game plan? And because when we went out there, it was like stick and move, stay out of range, frustrate him. Just because he likes crowding his own distance, stepping in with that 1-1-2, and then stepping into that too. But I looked at her and she said, "Any way you want to fight tonight's the way we win." So I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make it a dog fight."
I love that. Actually, whenever I see fighters finish fights early, I always have that thought in my head, like, but can they withstand torture? Can they withstand the pain? Can they bounce back from adversity? And actually, I
Yeah.
watched your fight against Kovac, and that was like a perfect
Fuck.
example, you know. And then when this after the first round, when you got into the second round, you were throwing a lot of those body shots. Um, and yeah, as I could tell, they weren't 100%, but you were throwing like four or five at a time. and it worked to your advantage. Now, fast forward a couple fights later, you get on the big stage, you finish in 16 seconds. Whether you're embarrassed of whatever happened after or not, I could tell you it was very entertaining. Very Everyone watching loved it. I'll tell you that much.
I
And then
appreciate it,
after
brother.
that, whenever you're you're having the post fight interview with Laura Senko, you're talking about how this is your dad's dream. You stole your dad's dream. How did that come about?
Well, I mean, I grew up watching my daddy fight, man. He was ranked number one in Minnesota for a couple years. He fought in Bellator. He fought Brett the Grim Rogers and fucking Bobby Lashley and a couple others. But he was never able to train full time. He was never really able to give it everything he had just because of, he's focusing on feeding three big ass kids that are bigger than him. So, it was it was definitely something that piqued my interest as a kid. Seeing all the glory that he got and being able to witness him like beat the shit out of people and get paid for it, and not go to jail. Like people love it. It's modern day gladiators, man.
Yeah,
Who's the best man tonight? It's not a team sport, but it's a team sport. Can you finish me? It's barbaric as fuck. And I like the thought of like, come on, man. I want to kill you and I know you want to kill me. So let's go put on a show for these people.
I love that. You have two brothers.
Yeah, yep. Older brother and a little brother.
Interesting. Yeah, we're three brothers as well. I saw the tattoo on your collarbone. My brother's keeper. I'm like, man, I like this guy, man. I like.
No,
Usually 500 pounds. Is that true?
525 was my heaviest. I mean, I
How
so
did you
highest
get there?
highest documented was 497. But I was working at Devani's as a delivery driver and fucking eating at least one large deep dish pizza a day. So I definitely got fat. Um, well, so when I started like when it started kind of pulling away from me, it was after my senior year. I ended up getting a ton of football scholarships pulled from me just because they asked for my transcript and I didn't really give a shit about school. I was focused on football and I thought that was going to be the end all be all. Yeah. But you know, I just didn't put a lot of effort into it. Senior year came around, they asked for the transcript, everybody pulled a scholarship and I had full rides to a pretty good amount of D1 schools, so I was deflating and I ended up having to go back another year to get a couple of credits and I was just fucking depressed, man. So I just kept getting bigger, I just kept eating, kept not giving a fuck, and now football's over, so it's like I'm not doing anything physical. Um, and then I started smoking weed, and I started having these anxiety attacks. I mean, I had anxiety attacks before, but fuck, like they were tenfold now. And I remember just looking at myself all the time and being disappointed, and I was like, dude, I'd be so fucking good looking if I just lost some weight. And I just couldn't do it. And then I got to a point where I was like 19 years old, went through a breakup. I was fucking eating my life away, not doing shit. And my boy started talking to me. He's like, bro, let's go hoop and start lifting weights. I was like, fuck, might as well do something because I'm not enjoying this life. Um, we went to the gym a couple of times, and then I'll never forget the day that really stuck with me. It was like the middle of December, fucking 22 degrees outside, and maybe 67 degrees in the building I'm working in. And I was in like a three-quarter zip up pullover. I was sweating like a whore in church, man. I'm fucking just disgusting. And I go to the fucking bathroom and I look at myself and I'm just like, oh, dude, ick. I lift up my shirt and I take a photo and I was like, I'm fucking changing, man. I'm not doing this no more. And it didn't start that day, but we got the job done for the most part. I don't know. I still got a little bit of ways I want to go and do a couple things for myself. But other than that, man, I think it's pretty incredible to see where I am now. I think if I would be able to see my little 15-year-old fat ass self and be like, hey kid, we're in the UFC, I think he'd be like, shut the fuck up, you're lying. You know what I mean? So it's a complete vindication story for me. And just an opportunity, another lease on life, man. Now I get to fucking use the gifts that God gave me as a just a physical human being, a big motherfucker, and let's go put on some fucking fun fights, man. I want some bangers. The reason I got into this was to put some extra fucking food on the table and make some money for my daughter. And now it's all changed. I had a pipe dream of getting into the UFC. Everything was a pipe dream. I'm not going to be good at this shit, and I'm okay with that. But let's go have some fun. And then the amateur went the way that it did. The pros started going the way that it did, and now we're in the UFC. I want people to remember me for my fights. I want to be out there leaving a piece of myself out there and making some fucking history. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm excited to do.
Just off, your attitude, I could tell fans are gonna love you. You're gonna go in there in a division that is not known for, you know, so much output. You're gonna go in there and you're gonna provide us violent fights, and that's what we want to see. Actually, you know what? I believe in your skill set, and I think that the way you strike is very rare in the heavyweight division. And I noticed that amateur career was undefeated. You only have one loss, but you were saying it was a pipe dream. How do you win all these fights and still feel like it, I don't know, like you're not there?
Bro, I don't know. It's not a happy story. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a. I hate what I see. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's so much room for improvement in every aspect. Um, it's just I'm not trying to disappoint anybody that anybody that supported me and anybody that loves me and is praying for me. That it's all about that to me. And then to be able to get to this point for me as well. I mean, obviously it's for me as well, but it's just I want to be something I can be proud of. I want my daughter to fucking be proud of me. I want my lady to be proud, say that's my man. You know what I mean? I want my parents to fucking. I just I want to start something different. I want to be I want to separate myself, I suppose. I don't know. I'm fucking stuttering. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
I get it. I think that those who love you are gonna love you regardless. You know what I mean? And
no,
and
for
uh,
sure.
it's important to not get caught up in anything online, the fans online,
Oh
because
yeah.
they're with you right now. They're with you right now. If something bad happens, they're not going to be with you. And Thomas Peterson had a lot of output over the weekend, and then he lost in the third round. And he was one of the first guests on our show. He gave us a chance. We were literally had no guests, and he did our show. I messaged him. I said, "Hey, man, if somebody can complete or accomplish half of what you've accomplished in life, they should be happy." You know, this is an
For sure.
unforgiving sport. You go into
The most
octagon,
unforgiving.
you say, especially what you're talking about. You're saying you want to go in there and you want to provide violent fights for the fans. That's a very unforgiving attitude. You're going in there like a gladiator. Are you ever scared?
Oh, dude, I fucking lose my mind before these fights. I think anybody that says they don't is a fucking liar. You know what I mean? I've been pretty candid with everything that, I feel before these, bro. I fucking cry before every single fight, and it's just I don't want to disappoint my family. I don't want them, this shit is so much bigger than me. And I have to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my attitude with everything. So I'm going out there and I'm putting my heart and soul on the line. And you know, I'm fucking scared, bro. I'm scared for the world to see me. I mean, fuck all the negative comment. Bro, I had to fucking. I was like, I'm sitting there just getting stoned, looking at all these comments. Like, goddamn, some of these are funny, but fuck, you guys are assholes. You know what I'm saying?
Get
Like,
used to it, bro.
oh,
Get
for
used
sure.
to it.
Now it's only gonna get worse. I mean, I started going to battle on Tommy's behalf, after the weekend. It was just like I fucking started thinking about it. Our boys messaged me. They're like, bro, it's not fucking worth it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll just get their IP address and fucking find out where they are.
It's
But
not only in the fight game though. The internet is very toxic.
for sure.
Anytime somebody has an opportunity to egg something on, they will. If they have an opportunity to say a witty, stupid remark, something that they think is funny, that's gonna get them recognition of some sort, they're gonna do that. So
Yeah,
just get used to it.
100%.
It's gonna happen. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie Coach Carter
Yeah.
where he says, "I'm not afraid of. It's my light, not my darkness that I'm afraid of. Like I'm afraid of what I can accomplish. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. You
Nope,
know,
I got you.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid of what I can accomplish, and That's what it is, Your 16-second finish on Contender Series. Now you're in the spotlight, but with the spotlight, comes the online fans, the comments, negative and positive. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's gonna say something positive now, maybe something negative later when they feel a certain way. If they lose the bet, you got to understand a lot of people are losing money.
I'm
So
already
whenever
know,
they bet
bro.
on somebody and they lose money, they hate that person.
I know. Oh my God. That's so bad. I think it's so fucking funny. Just because it's like, yo, I hear you. Whatever. But
But
don't be
but but you're going back to Vegas, right? You're going back to Vegas. Is it December 8th or 13th?
December 13th, baby. Back to
December
fucking
13th.
battle.
You have a fight at the Apex. It's a UFC fight night. You're fighting Sean Sharaf, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, what do you know about this guy? I mean, actually, you know what? I'm not going to ask you to, spill the beans on the game plan. But what can fans expect?
I'm gonna fucking brawl his big ass. No, he's I'm not gonna lie, like I was a little disappointed to find out it was Sean just because we trained together a little bit the week before of my contender series, like that weekend. But I fucking said what I said after the fight and said who wants it first, whatever. And I think he would love an opportunity to shut a fucking the new loudmouth kid up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited. I know he's got wrestling in his bag. I know he's a fucking fun striker, and this is what I'm here for, baby. I'm ready for a fucking brawl. I know he's gonna try to take me down. I think it's just inevitable. Denzel Freeman, fucking Raiden Kovacs, Hammer Morton, Billy Ray, fucking Larry Gonzalez. I turned all these fucking strikers into wrestlers. So, I'm gonna keep doing that. And I got pretty big confidence I'm gonna find his chin. Um, I'm going out there to do what Stephen Concrete does, baby. I want to put on a fucking bloody brawl for the fans, and I want a fucking bonus, bro. I'm broke as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I want to go get a house. I'm trying to go buy a house for me and my lady. So I'm gonna go out there and fight like a bat out of hell, try to make it a fun one, and hopefully we get through Sean. And then after we get through Sean, just fucking onward and upward, man. Just fucking, I don't know. This is the biggest fight of my life, so I'm working my ass off already. I got the call the following day after the Contender Series fight, so they moved quick, and I was right back in camp to try to help Tommy finish out his camp. So, I'm still in shape and just gonna keep this ball rolling. You know,
Hey, Steven, I'm so excited to see you compete, bro. I'm not even kidding. Honestly, when I watched the Contender Series fight, I enjoyed it. But right now, before this episode, I went and watched your other fights. You're actually very fun to watch. I can't wait to see it. Steven, is there
appreciate it, brother.
something? Thank you so much for your time, bro. I know you're in the middle of what, 2 months?
Yeah,
Basically 2 months from today. 2 months from today. I'm excited to watch it. Steven, is there something you want to leave the fans with?
man. First and foremost, I gotta just thank God for giving me this opportunity and putting me here. Um, And thank you to everybody, fucking anybody talking shit or like, there's not a lot of that. I'll be honest. There's been a ton of love. I mean, obviously everything's fake with this sport, in my opinion. You win, everyone's gonna love you. You fucking lose, everyone's gonna hate you.
Everything's fake
Um,
besides the sport.
yeah, no shit, and the money afterwards. So I'm excited to be a prize fighter. Let's go fucking win some prizes. No, man, I'm the new kid on the block, and I plan on making a fucking statement. Sean is a very fun opponent, and I think you guys should be ready for fireworks and be ready for a brawl, man. I'm a heavyweight that doesn't like to get hit a lot, and I fucking can bang. So let's go have some fun, put on some bloody wars at heavyweight, and change some motherfuckers' faces for life.
Guys, UFC Fight Night, December 13th. It's in Vegas. Tune in. Steven Asplund versus Sean Sharaf. This guy is entertaining, guys. You're not gonna regret it. Obviously, if you watch Contender Series, I don't even need to say more than that. Thank you for watching Never Made Weight. Thank you so much, Steven.
Much love, brother. Thank you again for your time.
Wearing a T-shirt that says "Never Made."
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.